Producers, how are you guys doing today? In this video, we're going to be making a beat in the style of DiLiP, and a lot of people have been requesting it, and this has been a request for months. I'm finally getting to it. I tried a few times to make a beat like him and make a tutorial, but I just wasn't liking how it was sounding. So hopefully this time is the one. First things first, we need to come up with some sort of melody. As you can tell, the BPM is at 114 here. I think that's a good kind of tempo. So let me think about this. I want to use some sort of sample. And it doesn't matter whether that's a sample that we find or if I create it myself, but I just want something that I can have as an audio form and like flip it and chop it and all kinds of stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about when I say that. Instead of browsing samples, I guess I'll just create something myself. That works fine as well. Just create something melodic. Now when I'm using Omnisphere and I don't know what type of sound I want, I just hit this shuffle button and I can just scroll through different sounds. That's cool as heck. I feel like I can make a whole song just with those two chords. I like that little kind of melody I just came up with. Having fun with it. It sounds almost like those toys that you wind up and then you like let it go and it plays that melody. I forgot what those are called. Let's see. Wait, no. Like a lullaby. All right, let me start coming up with a bass line right away. Like, we already have enough information here to make a banger already. So I'm gonna need a 808, kind of like the Sam Galatry 808 or the J Rob 808. I can also go with the Achilles. Just need to come up with a melody now. Start putting down some drums, of course. I like that kick right there, kick number 24. Let me go ahead and hide my face. All right. Get a nice snare as well. I feel like the 6 kit is gonna have some DiLiP sounding snares. Yeah, right there. The Toronto style of snares. Alright, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and create a MIDI clip with Control-Shift-M. Let's start placing this kick. Let me make sure it's nice and loud and stuff. So we want to turn down volume to velocity to 0 so that the velocity doesn't affect the volume of the kick. So I can play it at any velocity and the kick is going to be consistent. I like this kick though, it's nice. Start placing the snare as well. Now with the snare, let's go to classic mode instead of one-shot mode. That way we have the envelope control right here. The sustain is the level that you want the sound to go down to. So when it's at 0 decibels, that means the volume is gonna stay all the way up. We want it to go all the way down, and the decay is going to decide how long it takes for the volume to decay down to that level, or to go down to that level. So we can come up with a very nice short snare. Let's turn on the volume of this melody. Let's cut out the lows. Alright, so next up I want to get some drum loops. I'm going to take the hi-hats from the drum loops and we're basically going to finesse the hi-hats and put it into our own song. We're going to steal a loop. It's not really stealing, it's like sampling basically. So loops, hi-hats. Now the thing is, loops have a different tempo than your song usually. Okay, Ableton just automatically warped this, so. Oh, that's cool. It's kind of fast, but it's still cool. So as you can tell, it has a little bit of swing to it. Now I'm not gonna be that kind of guy that just straight up takes a loop and puts it into his song. I'm gonna be a little bit more creative. Let's get some drum breaks and chop them up, rearrange them and whatnot. Let me cut this with Control X. Let's color this track differently and let's duplicate it a few times. So all our blue tracks right here, we're going to use it to place audio on it. That's interesting. It's off beat, but it creates like a triplet rhythm. The normal way to do this would be to take off the front part, click on this and hit the metronome. Now it's obviously completely off beat, so we want to find a start point and an end point. So let's put this as the start point. It goes. No, this is the start point right here. So this right here seems to be the end point. Let me hit Command 4 to turn off the grid so it's not snapping around. And we're gonna cut it right there. Now I'm gonna hit Command L and notice how I've just soloed this track. Let's just listen to this and see if it loops well. Perfect loop, right? So now that we have that, let's just put it to the beginning. Let's unsolo the track. And now when we take a look at this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure it's warped. We're gonna hold shift at the edge, and this is a cool feature in Ableton 10 now. You can hold shift and then you drag the edge and it'll stretch it. And then we're gonna put the endpoint right here. So now it's like a full kind of block in our song, and it should work. Perfect. It's on tempo. If we divide it by 2, it could sound better as well. But yeah, that would be the typical way of doing this. But we kind of have like this triplet thing that we did by accident here. So let's chop this beat around and stuff. So now we have this whole chopped up loop. Let's just call this triplet hi-hats. Let's select all of this and let's hit Command J. Now Command J just combined everything, and now we have our own little pattern that we made, which is really cool. Let's hit Command 3 to get out of the triplet grid. This is so interesting. All right, let's look for some other hi-hat loops. Let's put the hi-hat, the triplet thing to the side, and let's layer other hi-hat loops. So let me find some other breaks and whatnot, and I'll come right back because this is gonna take a long. It's not gonna take a long time, but it's just me scrolling and trying things. All right, so here I have all these little drum loops that I warped and I timed to match my BPM and everything. And as you can tell, we have 4 layers. Let's just call this hi-hat layer 1, hi-hat layer 2. And basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop all the parts that I want out of these and rearrange it in a way that I actually like. Because if I play this how it is, it's gonna sound terrible. Sounds very bad. Now if I play each of these like individually with the song, then it might sound good, but instead I'm just gonna chop out the parts that I like from each, and this is gonna create a whole new pattern that we can call our own. Let me think of a nice rhythm. So actually with this track, you hear how it goes to doom doom. What I'm gonna do is keep that do right before the kick. So I'm gonna chop that right there, and I might keep that one hi-hat right there. So as you can tell, I'm just messing around with this. So alright, hi-hat layer 2 is good. Let's add hi-hat layer 1. Play with the volume a little bit. Alright, that's cool. So now we have hi-hat layer 1 done. Let's go with layer 3 now. Let's see what this is about. Now for this, I'm gonna use the Ableton Beats mode. As you can tell, we're in Beats mode right here. It's on transients. Basically, each transient is wherever these gray markers are, and Ableton basically tries to guess wherever there's a brand new drum hit, or if it's like an instrument, wherever there's a new note being played. The transient is just the peak of a sound. It's the attack. So if I go to this one-shot mode right here, it's gonna play each transient once and then it's gonna stop. Why this is important and why this is cool is that we can turn down the envelope and basically shorten all of these transients and make them sound a lot tighter and cleaner. If I make them super short, it sounds very interesting. So what I'm gonna do is with this, I'm gonna be a lot more sparse with it. Let's just mute that and take this and place it right here. Let me think about this. Let's place that here. Let's take this and put it right here. Let's chop this one right out. Cool. This is less of a hi-hat loop, it's more of a bongo layer. Like there's bongos. Now let's get to this last hi-hat pattern. We really don't need it, to be honest. Let's just get rid of that. And we're just gonna call this, all right, this is our hi-hat layer. Let's separate the bongos from it. Let's make this like green or something. Like dark green. And then we have our hi-hats right here. What we can do is create a new audio track. Can arm it, go to resampling. And let's go ahead and record this. Cool. So now we have it in audio form. Can just get rid of this if we want to. And with the bongos, let's go ahead and consolidate this. Make it short again. better. Go ahead and turn up the transients again and then consolidate this. Alright, spent so long making the drums. Let's start adding more sounds and melodies and whatnot. I'll just call this hi-hats. And let's just put this all under a group called drums. So let me come right back and think about how I want to progress with this and what else I want to add. So I kind of have an idea of how I want to move forward with this song. As you can tell, I have this Kontakt library called Vital series. It's like this is the Mallet one, I think. Maybe they have more Kontakt libraries, but I have the Mallets library. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create some sort of melody with it. I was just playing around. I'm gonna do something like that. Something basic like that. Let's quantize everything. What happens if you like make it smaller? Can do stuff like that, or something like that. Let me go back to our hi-hats that we had. I like that. Mallets. I'm just gonna call this track Mallets. Let's see what we can like create with the different presets that they have in here. I think we're playing it too high for the tubular bells. Sounds awful though, I don't really like that. That's cool. Now some of you guys know I like to do this trick with the simple delay. I'll just load up a simple delay. I'll turn up the dry wet to 100%. I'll link it and I'll set the time to as low as possible so that there's basically no delay at all. And then I'll right click it and go to repitch mode. And now when we start moving the time, it starts getting messed up. Like the pitch starts getting distorted and whatnot. Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do. Let's get rid of this reverb. Freeze the track. duplicate it, and let's flatten one of them, mute the other, and we're gonna save this for later on. Put it to the side somewhere. Oh, I didn't mean to put it in the drums. I meant to move it above the drums. Now let's add the reverb back. So I want to mess around with some like sound design at this point and kind of maybe do some stuff with granular synthesis, which is something we used in the other videos. Or we can create some chords with Serum. There's a lot of ways we can go with this. Here, let's try some sort of granular synthesis. So let's get Granulator, wherever that is. Is it Granulator input? No, it has to be an instrument. All right, Granulator II. Now let's go ahead and look for some samples. I want something smooth, so maybe like an organ or some Rhodes or something. Let's see what this is about. Now the file position, here, let me go ahead and hide my face. The file position is gonna basically decide where the sample starts. I can't find a nice note. I don't know, something doesn't sound right about this. Just keep looking for samples right now. I don't like how this is going.
Je m'occupe.
Cheesy. Let's check that out. Keep playing with this. I'm not sure what these controls do down here. It sounds like this is kind of an LFO for the volume. I'm not sure though. Yeah, it looks like an LFO. Oh no, I'm just gonna leave that alone. just gonna leave it how it is, just like that. Now let's change the file position for that first chord right there. That's cool. I'm liking the way this is going. I don't know about you guys. If you like how this is going, leave a like right now before the beat is over. It's not even close to being over, but if you're liking it, then might as well leave a like now already. You know, it's nice. It's sounding very nice. Let's add more kicks and stuff. So a lot of things that we can do right now. Let's go ahead and let's select an area and hit Control-Shift-D a few times. And then let's go back to the drums and start adding some variation. Yeah, this is sounding very good. And with these two, let's bring them back to the normal octave. Now let's get crazy with this 808. Alright, that's cool. That's good enough for the 808. We're gonna add some glides and all that, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. But let's see. Literally, I was gonna do something, but I completely forgot. I was gonna do something. Damn. Oh, I was gonna try the triplet hi-hats that we had again. I think for the triplet hi-hats, what I'm gonna do is let's make a selection the size of our loop, and let's hit Command I to make some space, and we're just gonna bring that to the front of our song. Select all of this, hit Command J to consolidate it and make the transients nice and short. Alright, cool, that's nice. And this is kind of going to be in our intro, and it's going to build up to our actual drop. Alright, so real quick, I'm gonna do some probably a little bit of work off camera and come back. Or if I have an idea that I can demonstrate on camera, then I'll do that when I come back. Alright, so since last time I only added 2 things. I just needed a long ass break, to be honest. I only added 2 things and I took a break. I added these hi-hats right here from the 6 kit under Trap Essentials. As you can tell, that was like the last thing that I did. Closed hi-hat number 21 down here. That's what it's called in the 6 kit. I'm definitely gonna add more snares and stuff. But I also added this outro. And then in the intro, I added some reverb to that triplet pattern. Here's what the hi-hats sound like. So you guys kind of get the point. Now at the outro, we have this pad right here. I can go ahead and recreate it for you guys real quick just so you guys know how to do it. So real quick, initialize the preset. So now it's gonna sound like this. Sounds pretty bad, right? Turn up the voices. Kind of blend it nice. Add another saw right here. Turn on a filter and put the oscillator B through it as well. Finally add a sub. You want to get this LFO right here. Make sure you move the cutoff down a little bit. Bring the LFO to this. And we're going to kind of do something like this right here. And we're going to go with 8 notes. Next, I'm going to go on chorus, turn that on. Turn the mix all the way up. Turn the depth down a little bit. The last step that we want to do is go ahead and turn up the release a lot. So I don't know, like 5 seconds would be good. Put the sub through the LFO as well. I forgot to say that. Now the final step is I click the always knob, right? I mean the always button, so that there's always glide at the start. And I'll put it to, I don't know, like 75 or so. And there you have it. That's how I made that sound. The last thing I'm gonna do now is start adding glides to the 808. So let's go back to this 808 track right here. And I'm gonna go from a simpler to a sampler. It's gonna sound exactly the same. At this point, I'm going to go to the pitch knob, the pitch section. Let's turn on glide and put the glide to like 200. But the most important part is that we turn this pitch bend range all the way up to 24. So now we can start adding glides if we hit this envelope tab down here. And we go to the pitch bend section. So we can start doing stuff like that. Let's draw some extra notes in here. Alright, so right there I'm gonna have like a upwards glide. something like that. I want to make it a little bit shorter though. Or do something like this. Right here, let's add like 2 individual ones. Let's do something like that. Go back to the pitch bend. And right here, can add something else like a upwards glide. I don't know. Let's do something interesting. Let's put one note down here and kind of have it glide down. I don't like that. Put another one like down here. That's good. So our last kind of glide is going to be a downwards sloping glide at the end here. Yeah, I think that's it for this beat. There's not really much more that I want to add to this, but other than that, I'm gonna mix this song, add any background elements that I think would make it sound better. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe below most importantly, and let me know what you thought of this beat, suggestions for other videos, who else you want to see. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time.